My hand froze over the power of attorney document as the syringe of sedatives rolled out from behind my daughter's jewelry box. The prescription wasn't mine. The dosage would have knocked me unconscious for hours. And my daughter Jennifer had been insisting I sign these papers for weeks, telling me it was just routine planning for my future care. The night before, my late husband Thomas had appeared in my dream, more vivid than any dream I'd had in the 3 years since his death. He stood in our bedroom doorway, wearing the blue sweater I'd buried him in, and his face was full of anguish. "Margaret," he said, his voice carrying that tone he used when warning me about something serious, "don't sign anything Jennifer brings you. Please, for God's sake, investigate the nursing home before you agree to anything." I woke up in our king-sized bed, the one I'd slept in alone since Thomas died, my heart pounding so hard I thought I might be having a heart attack. The dream felt different from the usual ones where Thomas appeared. This felt urgent, real, like he was trying to break through from wherever he was to warn me. "I'm Margaret Chen, and I'm 62 years old. Thomas and I built a comfortable life together over 40 years of marriage. He was a civil engineer, and I worked as a nurse at Seattle General Hospital until I retired 5 years ago. We raised 2 children. Our son David lives in Boston with his family. Our daughter Jennifer stayed local, married to her husband Brandon, and they have a 15-year-old daughter, Lily, who's always been the light of my life. When Thomas died suddenly from a heart attack 3 years ago, I thought I'd never recover. He was only 64. We were supposed to travel, see the world, spend time with our grandchildren. Instead, I found myself alone in our 4-bedroom house in Laurelhurst, one of Seattle's nicest neighborhoods, with nothing but memories and Thomas's life insurance money in the bank. Jennifer stepped up immediately after Thomas died. She helped me with funeral arrangements, sorted through paperwork, made sure I ate and slept. I don't know what I would have done without her those first few months. She suggested I work with Richard Morrison, a lawyer who'd helped their family friends with estate planning. Richard was in his late 52s, distinguished-looking with silver hair, and he spoke with such confidence about protecting my assets that I trusted him immediately. Over the past year, Jennifer had been bringing up the idea of me moving into a nice senior living community. At first, it was casual. "Mom, wouldn't it be easier not to maintain this big house?" Then it became more frequent. "Mom, I worry about you falling down these stairs." And finally, more insistent. "Mom, Richard says we really need to get your affairs in order. What if something happens?" 2 weeks ago, she brought me a packet of documents. "It's just power of attorney, Mom, so I can help manage things if you get sick." Richard prepared everything. He says it's what Dad would have wanted. I'd been ready to sign. Then came that dream. The morning after the dream, I called Richard's office to schedule a meeting. His secretary said he could see me in a week. That felt too long, but I said yes. I spent the next several days in a fog, Thomas's words echoing in my mind. "Investigate the nursing home." What nursing home? Jennifer had mentioned a few communities, but nothing specific. She'd shown me brochures for Emerald Hills Retirement Community, a beautiful facility in Bellevue with gardens and activities. It looked lovely in the photos, but something about Thomas's warning made me uneasy. 3 days after the dream, Jennifer came by for lunch. She brought containers of my favorite chicken salad from the deli Thomas and I used to love. We sat in my kitchen, and she seemed nervous, playing with her coffee cup. "Mom, I wanted to talk to you about something," she said, not meeting my eyes. "Brandon and I have been having some financial difficulties." My heart sank. "Jennifer, honey, how bad is it?" "Pretty bad. His business is struggling, and we took out a second mortgage." She finally looked at me, and her eyes were red. "I hate asking, but we might lose the house. How much do you need?" $50,000 would get us through the next 6 months. I didn't hesitate. "Of course. Let me talk to my bank." She grabbed my hand. "Thank you, Mom. You're saving us." Then she added, almost casually, "You know, it would be easier if you'd signed those power of attorney papers. Then I could handle these transactions without bothering you every time." Something cold slithered down my spine. The way she said it. The timing. I smiled and said, "Let's handle this first. Then we'll deal with the paperwork." After she left, I sat in Thomas's old office, surrounded by his books and his smell that had finally started to fade from the room. I opened my laptop and typed Emerald Hills Retirement Community into the search bar. The reviews were glowing. 5 stars, beautiful facilities, attentive care. But something nagged at me. I dug deeper, looking for any complaints or issues. On the 5th page of search results, I found an article from a senior advocacy blog. It mentioned that Emerald Hills had recently been purchased by a larger corporation, Serenity Living LLC, and the management had changed. Several families had complained about increased costs and reduced care quality. I kept searching for information about Serenity Living LLC. It took me 3 hours of following corporate filings and business registrations, but I finally found something interesting. The managing director of Serenity Living LLC was someone named R. Morrison. My hand started shaking. Richard Morrison. Could it be the same person? I needed to know more. I called my son David in Boston. "Mom, is everything okay?" He sounded worried. I rarely called him during work hours. "David, I need you to help me with something. Quietly. Don't tell Jennifer." There was a pause. "What's going on?" I told him about the dream, about the pressure to sign documents, about Richard Morrison and Serenity Living. David was quiet for a long moment. "Mom, let me make some calls. I have a friend who's a corporate lawyer. Give me 48 hours. 2 days later, David called back. "Mom, sit down for this." What he told me made my blood run cold. Richard Morrison was indeed the managing director of Serenity Living LLC. More than that, the company had a pattern. They'd identify seniors with valuable real estate, encourage them to move into their facilities, and then systematically increase care costs until the seniors had to sell their homes or sign over assets to pay for their care. Several lawsuits were pending in California. "There's more," David said. "I had my friend check the power of attorney documents. If you sign them, Jennifer gets complete control of your assets, including the right to sell the house and make all medical decisions. And there's a clause that says if you're deemed incapacitated, she can place you in the facility of her choosing." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. My own daughter? "Mom, I'm flying out tomorrow. Don't sign anything. Don't let Jennifer know you're suspicious. Just act normal." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Jennifer as a little girl, the way she'd crawl into bed with Thomas and me during thunderstorms, her high school graduation, her wedding day. How could the little girl who used to bring me dandelions be planning to institutionalize me and take my home? The next morning, Jennifer called. "Mom, Richard had a cancellation. He can see you today at 2 p.m. to finalize those documents. I'll drive you." "Oh, honey, I have a doctor's appointment at 2. Cancel it. This is important." The forcefulness in her voice chilled me. "Jennifer, I can't cancel. It's my annual physical. I've waited 3 months for this appointment." "Fine." She sounded angry. "I'll come by tonight with the papers. You can sign them at home." After we hung up, I called David. "She's bringing the papers tonight. I land at 5. I'll be there by 6:30. Stall her if she comes earlier." I spent the day in Thomas's office, going through old files. I found our will, our marriage certificate, photos from when the kids were young, and I found something else. A letter Thomas had written to me, dated 2 weeks before he died, sealed in an envelope marked, "Open if I die suddenly." With trembling hands, I opened it. Thomas's handwriting swam before my eyes through my tears. "My dearest Margaret, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and I need you to know something I discovered. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you earlier, but I wanted to be sure. I was going through our financial records and noticed Jennifer had been forging my signature on checks from our account. Small amounts at first, then larger. When I confronted her, she cried and said Brandon's business was failing. I gave her money and made her promise never to steal from us again. But I'm worried. I've seen how she looks at this house, at our assets. Please be careful. She's our daughter and I love her, but she's desperate, and desperate people make terrible choices. If anything ever happens to me, promise me you'll protect yourself. I love you always, Thomas." I sat there holding the letter, tears streaming down my face. Thomas had known. He'd tried to warn me before he died, and now he was trying to warn me again from beyond the grave. At 5:30, I heard a key in the front door. Jennifer had a key. She'd insisted I give her one after Thomas died, in case of emergencies. She walked in with Brandon and immediately stopped when she saw my face. "Mom, have you been crying? What's wrong?" I folded Thomas's letter and slipped it into my pocket. "Just missing your father." Brandon nodded sympathetically. He was 40, losing his hair, and looked exhausted. I'd always liked Brandon. He seemed genuinely kind. Did he know what Jennifer was planning? "Mom, we brought the papers," Jennifer said, setting her bag on the coffee table. "Richard explained everything, and it's really straightforward. You just need to sign here, here, and here." She pointed to sticky tabs on the documents. "Jennifer, I'd like to read through these first." "Mom, we've been over this. Richard's a professional. You trust him, don't you?" "I'd still like to read them." Her smile tightened. "Of course. Take all the time you need." But her tone said the opposite. I was reading through the power of attorney, my nurse's training helping me parse the legal language, when David walked in. Jennifer's face went white. "David? What are you doing here?" "Visiting Mom. That's still allowed, isn't it?" He kissed my cheek and sat beside me. "What are we reading?" "Just some estate planning documents Jennifer brought over." David picked up the papers. His eyes scanned them quickly, his jaw tightening. "Mom, do you understand what you'd be signing?" "David, this is none of your business," Jennifer said sharply. "It absolutely is my business when my sister is trying to get Mom to sign away all her rights." He looked at Jennifer, and his voice was cold in a way I'd never heard. "Serenity Living LLC, R. Morrison. Want to explain that to Mom?" Jennifer stood up abruptly. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't you? Richard Morrison, your lawyer friend, owns the nursing home you've been pushing Mom toward, and you get a referral fee for every senior you bring in. What's the cut, Jen? 10%? 20? Brandon looked confused. "Jennifer, what's he talking about?" "It's not like that," Jennifer said, her voice rising. "Richard offers a good service. Mom would be happy at Emerald Hills. Until they drain her bank account and force her to sell this house to pay for care," David shot back. "I talked to 3 families whose parents went through this exact scenario. One woman lost her home of 50 years. "You're being dramatic," Jennifer said, but she wouldn't meet anyone's eyes. I stood up, my voice surprisingly steady. "Jennifer, is this true?" "Mom, I was trying to help. You need care, and I need money. Richard offered a solution that worked for everyone. Everyone except me," I said quietly. "I'd lose my home, my independence, everything your father and I built." "You're too old to live alone anyway," Jennifer's voice cracked with desperation. "What happens when you fall? When you get sick? I'm trying to protect you." "By stealing from me?" I pulled out Thomas's letter. "Your father knew you were forging checks. He gave you money, and you promised to stop. But you didn't stop, did you? You just got more ambitious." Jennifer's face crumpled. "Mom, I'm sorry. We're drowning in debt. I didn't know what else to do." Brandon put his head in his hands. "Jesus, Jennifer, you told me your mom wanted to move to Emerald Hills." "She does. Or she should." Jennifer turned to me, tears streaming down her face. "Mom, I'm your daughter. I love you. I just need help." "Then you should have asked for help," I said, my heart breaking. "Not tried to trap me. Not tried to take everything your father and I worked for." David called the police while we waited in terrible silence. Jennifer kept crying, begging me not to do this, saying she was sorry. Brandon sat apart from her, looking devastated. I felt numb. When the officers arrived, I showed them Thomas's letter, the forged checks I'd found in old bank statements, and the power of attorney documents with their predatory clauses. David had already forwarded them the information about Richard Morrison and Serenity Living's pattern of elder exploitation. "We'll need to investigate, ma'am," the officer said. "This Mr. Morrison will need to answer some questions. As for your daughter, we can charge her with attempted fraud and elder abuse." I looked at Jennifer, sobbing in her husband's arms, and felt a wave of grief so powerful I could barely breathe. This was my little girl, the child I'd rocked to sleep, taught to ride a bike, watched walk down the aisle. "I want her to get help," I heard myself say. "Counseling, therapy, and she needs to pay back what she stole. But I don't want to destroy my own daughter." The officer nodded. "We'll see what we can work out with the district attorney." After they left, with Jennifer in the back of a police car, Brandon turned to me. "Mrs. Chen, I swear I didn't know. She told me you wanted to move. That you'd asked Richard to help with planning." "I believe you, Brandon. Lily's been asking to see you. Jennifer said you were too tired for visitors." Another lie. Another manipulation. Tell Lily she can visit any time. She's always welcome here. David stayed with me for a week. We went through all my paperwork, changed locks, set up new bank accounts. He helped me find a real estate lawyer, not connected to Richard Morrison, to review my affairs. We learned that Richard was already under investigation in California, and my case added to the mounting evidence against him. Jennifer took a plea deal. She went to court-mandated therapy and had to make restitution payments. She lost her real estate license. Brandon filed for divorce. I testified at Richard Morrison's trial, and he was convicted of elder fraud and exploitation. Serenity Living LLC was shut down, and 17 families sued to recover their losses. I never spoke to Jennifer again, though I tried several times. She sent letters apologizing, but they always ended with requests for money or help. David thought I should cut her off completely. Maybe he was right. But I have Lily. She comes over every Sunday now. We bake together, just like I used to bake with Jennifer when she was young. Lily asked me once if I missed her mom. Every day, I told her honestly. I miss the little girl she used to be, the daughter I thought I had. I'm sorry she hurt you, Grandma. Me too, sweetheart, me too. I'm still in my house. The house Thomas and I bought together 35 years ago. Every room holds memories. Sometimes I dream of Thomas, but not warnings anymore. Now he just smiles and tells me he's proud of me, that I did the right thing. I wear his wedding ring on a chain around my neck, next to mine. On hard days, when I miss Jennifer so much it physically hurts, I hold those rings and remember what Thomas taught me about love. Real love doesn't take, it doesn't manipulate or deceive. Real love protects, even when protection means saying no. I sleep better now. The house doesn't feel as empty with Lily's laughter echoing through it on Sundays. David calls twice a week. I've made peace with my choices, though peace doesn't mean the absence of grief. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that dream, about Thomas appearing in our bedroom doorway, warning me not to sign those documents. I think about the letter he left, his final gift of protection. I think about a father's love reaching beyond death to save his wife from their daughter's betrayal. I don't know if the dream was really Thomas or just my subconscious picking up on details I'd noticed but not acknowledged. Jennifer's increasing urgency, Richard's too smooth confidence, the way they'd isolated me from asking too many questions. But I choose to believe Thomas found a way to warn me. That love, that strong, that deep, doesn't end just because someone's heart stops beating. I believe he's still watching over me, making sure I'm okay, the way he did for 40 years of marriage. I've learned that family isn't always about blood. It's about trust and integrity and protection. Lily is my family. David is my family. The memory of Thomas is my family. And Jennifer, wherever she is, wherever her choices have taken her, is someone I once knew, someone I loved with my whole heart, someone I had to let go to survive. The hardest part isn't the betrayal itself. It's knowing that I would have given her the money if she'd just asked. I would have helped her, supported her, done anything to ease her burden. But she chose deception over honesty, exploitation over trust. She chose to see me not as her mother, but as an obstacle to her financial security. I'm 62 years old. I'm healthy and strong. I volunteer at the hospital where I used to work. I take Lily to movies and museums. I video chat with David's kids in Boston. I've joined a book club and started taking watercolor painting classes. My life isn't what I imagined it would be after Thomas died. I thought I'd have both my children close, supportive, loving. I thought I'd grow old, surrounded by family who wanted to be with me, not just wanted what I had. But I'm still here, still independent, still fighting. And every morning when I wake up in the bed I shared with Thomas, I thank him for loving me enough to warn me, whether it was through a dream or through the letter he left or through the values he instilled in me over 4 decades together. I didn't eat the poisoned cake, metaphorically speaking. I didn't sign away my life. I didn't let desperation and greed destroy what Thomas and I built. And maybe that's the real lesson Thomas was trying to teach me. From beyond death, that love means protecting yourself too, that you can grieve for who someone used to be while refusing to let them destroy you. That survival sometimes means the hardest choice of all, saying no to your own child. I'm still standing, still living in my home, still choosing hope over bitterness, Even when bitterness would be easier, Thomas would be proud of that, and for now, that's enough.